we got diarrhea, erection, explosion, bubble bath. All right, that's the name. And they said, once again, Ghost, I'm impressed with the back-to-back shows. How big of a problem is racism actually today? Anyway, thought you'd enjoy this video. Two very interesting shows. I enjoy TCR2 GX. So let's go ahead and see what diarrhea, erection, explosion, bubble bath has in store for us here. What the hell is this?
In data.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man, no, dude. First of all, I am no fan of Ben Shapiro. I mean, look, I'm not a white nationalist. I don't think, there's like some kind of Jewish conspiracy like many people are suggesting. But I'll be honest with you. When you have people like Ben Shapiro and Seth Rogen and these fucking people that are talentless pieces of shit that are just being shoved down our throats, and I genuinely don't ever talk to any people in my life that actually like these fuckers, you know that you're throwing fuel to the fire to the white nationalists that believe that this is all a conspiracy and the Jews have a connection and all this shit. I'm just saying because Ben Shapiro is probably one of the most cringiest, dumb fucking idiots that I've ever seen in the right-wing political commentary. I mean, this guy acts like a disgruntled autist. How anyone can actually take this guy seriously in any interview setting is beyond me. And to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you, okay? As much as I don't like an Arab with the fucking, the headdress on, the fucking... them say the towel on their head and shit. I don't like that shit in America. I don't like this shit either. The fucking coffee filter on the head, that has nothing to do with him being Jewish. I'm just, as Americans, we have to start, we got to start fucking, if we're going to be freedom of religion, and yet we're not going to infringe upon that when it comes to infringing, like we're all supposed to be equal in our religious beliefs. But we're not supposed to infringe upon anyone else. And when you have the hijab, when you have the fucking headdress for the dudes and shit, when you have, this, when you have this kind of crap, when you have the chic crap, when you have the dot on the head, when you have all these different weird religions that are being practiced and are shoved in our faces as American citizens, I take offense to this, and I don't give a shit what religion you are. All right? Look, I'm living my life. You live your life, okay? Whatever you practice in your home, it's the same thing with the gay shit. If whatever you practice in your home, whatever you practice in your church, your synagogue, your fucking mosque, your fucking, whatever, your temple, whatever the fuck, don't bring it on me. I don't give a shit. Okay, Shapiro, we get it. You're a fucking Jew, and that's great. This fucking yarmulke shit is ridiculous. And I think that Jews would even agree with me. I mean, give me a fucking break. I'm always going to wear my yarmulke because I'm just too ashamed that I'm going bald. And I act like a disgruntled autist all the time. Anyway, I fucking hate this guy. Just play it, all right? Once again, this fucking guy, diarrhea, erection, explosion, bubble bath, requested this.
Which suggests that mammals are, in fact, binary in terms of their sex, unless you have intersex birth defects.
Look at how this guy talks, dude. I mean, this guy is talking to you like he's talking down to you like some boss that's catching you 5 minutes over your fucking lunch break and shit. All right, this is how this guy talks. I would fucking take an insult of this guy talking to me. I would have to bitch slap this guy and use his yarmulke for a coffee filter if this fucking guy talked to me like this. I'm not fucking kidding.
Typically, or genetic defects.
I'm happy to opine on this. This only matters because today we segregate nearly all sports by gender. Otherwise, why do you even give a shit? What someone identifies with. We live in a free country, and with consenting adults,
Now,
and
look.
free.
The reason the affirmative action scientist over here is making reference to this and be like, man, we Americans, baby, I don't know, you do what you want, because this guy's a fucking fraud. All right? This guy's a fucking fraud. He's an affirmative action scientist, and I can't believe that we even take this guy serious. This is a guy who believes that we live on a pear-shaped earth. This is a guy who, believe it or not, I confronted this idiot on Twitter before they banned one of my Twitter accounts many years ago. I confronted this fucking idiot and said, because look, I did a research on this dude, okay? I research everybody. Okay, I did a research on this guy. This guy majored in Caribbean ballroom dancing. Okay, that's what his fucking bachelor's degree is in. I'm not fucking kidding. You could find this guy on fucking a Google image search of him during, the fucking ballroom dancing. Proof. You dumbass. All right, these idiots want proof now. You people are fucking morons. I'm not fucking kidding, man. I don't even, what the hell's this guy's name again? Neil deGrasse fucking Tyson, chicken or whatever the fuck his name is. Hold on just a second. I'm trying to find him. Hold on. Jesus Christ, man. I'm sorry. I have to show you this. This guy is a fucking ballroom dancer. All right, put the PC shot on. Take a look at this. This is this brother right here. Look at this. There's Neil deGrasse Tyson. Look at that. Man, I take ballroom dancing, baby. I be banging these bitches and shit, man. Look at that. Look at this shit. Man, look at all these bitches around me, baby. You know what I'm saying? I was pimping, baby. I was pimping. Look at me right here, baby. I was pimping. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, baby. I majored in Caribbean ballroom dancing, baby. I mean, look at me right here. This is me pretending that I was smoking a joint and shit. I couldn't smoke a joint and shit because the motherfucker wouldn't let me into college and shit. You know what I'm saying?
I'd buy that.
Anyway, hold on. What is this? I'm sorry. I fucking don't like that fucking guy. He's a piece of shit. And amidst all that Caribbean ballroom dancing and all that shit, when did he actually science? When the fuck did he actually science, actually? You know what I mean? And when I asked him this on Twitter, you may be able to find it on the Wayback Machine. When I asked him about this, he actually tweeted back, and he goes, I quote, "I have many papers that you can look up that show my scientific documentation." What a fucking... So you can So is that what you're telling me? I can become a scientist as long as I pay my way through the fucking canonization of higher education and shit out a whole bunch of papers on dumb shit, and that makes me a scientist. That's great. Thank you for admitting that, Neil deGrasse fucking Tyson food fucking chicken, whatever the fuck your name is. Anyway, got him. Caller 88 will receive 2 tickets to Ben Shapiro and the final... Oh, dude, I'm not saying that, dude, all right? All right, anyway, let's go ahead and put the PC shot back on this brother here, all right? He's like, hey, man, I don't give a fuck what people are doing, baby. I don't want anyone to stop my hustle, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm a black man talking about the stars and shit.
Expression of who and what they are.
Man, on adult level, I agree with you. I think it does matter what you teach
That's
your
what I'm
children.
saying. And so there's the matrix of what you are biologically, how you express yourself, who you choose as a sexual partner. If we actually live in a free country, as we tell ourselves, people's freedom to behave in any of those ways should not concern you at all.
Hey, Neil deGrasse Tyson, brother, you want to know, I agree with what you're saying. But the problem is that the folks that you're talking about ain't just like keeping it to theyself. They out here trying to be not just infiltrating the children's minds with this fucking perversion. Now they're trying to be like, man, you know what? I suck as a male athlete. I'm going to take some hormones. I'm a woman now, and now I'm gold medalist, baby. And now I'm winning NCAA swim meets and shit. I mean, that shit is bullshit. That is some bullshit. So that's all I got to say.
Nor are they requiring that you behave that way. Okay?
Well,
this is for their own freedoms, because we live in a free country. Now, what is unresolved here is, what do you do with sports? It's unresolved. And I've followed that closely, and I don't see any...
What are you talking about unresolved, okay? You just make a whole new tranny division of fucking tranny sports. I don't understand. We have women's sports. We got men's sports. Why don't we have tranny sports? I don't understand. Why do they have to be integrated with women's sports? Give me a fucking break. And you know, women, they, especially the leftist women, they've been caught with their hand in the fucking virtue signaling cookie jar because they can't really talk against this because it's mostly women that are pushing all this perversion and sexualization of children. So that's why, in my personal view, I mean, women should be the most vocal against all this transgendered integration into women's sports, but they can't because they started this whole shit.
I don't see any meaningful solutions to come down off of that. We know that hormones manifest differently in different people, and just the whole thing with steroids. Steroids are hormones, right? And we rallied against steroids in professional sports because it gives you an undue advantage. So I've tried to think of what the future of sports would be in the world of a gender spectrum. And it may be, you don't specify whether it's a male or female sport. You just take measurements of what your hormonal balances are. And so you compete based on your
my God. I mean, look at this brother's laughing at his own stupid. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This brother knows he's a conner. He knows he's a fucking con artist. I mean, this is such duping delight. He couldn't even hold it in. He's laughing at himself.
I don't know. I don't know where it's going to land.
The WNBA won't be in business for very long if that's the case.
It would just be you'd have to find some way to compete people against each other if you still care that sports is an interesting activity.
I guess the area where it does come up in a non-sports area.
Yeah, tell me. I don't know.
So it would be...
I mean, you see, even Neil deGrasse Tyson's like, why is this little pipsqueak fucking son of a bitch talking to me like, he's my daddy? I mean, seriously, Ben Shapiro, I would bitch slap this dude, and he probably doesn't mean it. He's just a dumb autist, but I would bitch slap this dude if he talked to me that way, dude.
You talk in your book about the education of children and teaching children about science, and right now, children are being taught about the quote-unquote gender spectrum, which is not scientifically based. That is a theory-based idea.
No, wait, hold on. People express themselves on a spectrum. So you learn that.
Once again, the spectrum. You want to know what the spectrum is? It's bullshit. That's what it is. It's a abstract idea where science can, kind of not be caught being wrong, right? So that some scientists could be like, well, it wasn't exactly this way, but it was within the spectrum. I mean, that spectrum is being used a lot within science. Keep that in mind.
That's a social point, not a scientific point.
It's
meaning we express ourselves
hold on.
Based in different languages. Is that something you teach in science class, or is that something that you teach when you're teaching language?
So whether the fact that people want to express themselves on a spectrum, on a gender spectrum, whether that fact is something you want to put in a sociology class or in a science class, maybe that remains to be determined. But it is a real fact about real society.
Well, of course, nobody's denying that people identify how they want to identify.
So
the question is, what is the relationship of that to biology? Meaning that the argument is made that trans women are women, for example. And what that seems to mean is that trans women are identical to women. Now, if people want to say trans women are not biological women, obviously that is the case. But people don't seem to want to say that, although that is obviously scientifically true. Trans women are not biological women.
And you see, I don't. Why did Neil deGrasse Tyson even agree to come and do this? Because this is why Shapiro's loving this, because he's just telling him, like, look, this is not science. Science tells us that there's two genders, and you're telling me that the realm of possibilities within a spectrum, but that's not what science says. So, and you see, deGrasse Tyson, he knows where his bread is buttered. This guy isn't making his money in science. This guy's making his money writing his shitty books, to dumbasses that simp for this guy because he's an affirmative action scientist. He makes all this money on all these special appearances and talks and shit that I believe that he charges like $100 a pop and shit. I mean, this is how this guy's making money. And most of the people that go to his events and buy his books are all a bunch of leftist, atheist, evolution-believing shitheads. And most of them happen to be gay or LGBTQ. So this guy can't, discuss science in the literal form of science like Autistic Shapiro is saying here. He can't do it. So he's trying to talk very slow and deliberate so it doesn't sound like, well, you're technically right. That's why Shapiro, given the fact that he kind of understands debates at least, even though he's not a very good communicator, he knows he's got him. He knows he's got the brother.
Biological women are biological women.
But where are you going with this? What are you trying to accomplish?
When you answer a question with a question, you don't know shit. Okay? When you're in a debate, the only time you should answer a question with a question is if you're talking to the police or the feds. Okay? When you're being interviewed for your intellect and you're a fucking scientist and you're answering a question with a question, how does that make your intellectual endowment look, really? You Caribbean ballroom dancing fuck?
Accomplish by asking yourself, is it science or is it not science? It's people in society.
But this is...
Dude, what are you talking about? Did you hear that answer by Neil deGrasse Tyson? He's trying to escape this issue because he can't describe the science. He cannot say, well, technically, baby, what happened, you see, gender is made by motherfucking X chromosome and Y chromosomes and shit. And you see, the motherfucking X chromosome is really what it is. We only got X, baby. You see, how we got the Y is that one of the motherfucking legs broke off of the X, okay? One of the motherfucking legs broke off of the X, and we got the motherfucking Y, but it's still the same motherfucking X, baby. So, you know what I'm saying, baby? There ain't no two genders here and shit.
It's a perfect example of an area where suddenly it doesn't matter to say things that are just true. Why is it bad or wrong to point out?
I have another way to approach this. I care what is objectively true in the world as a scientist.
Dude, but why don't you just answer the fucking question? Look at him rolling his eyes because he knows he's caught. Because if you're going to talk literal science, there is no biology that will explain more than two genders. Okay? And what Shapiro is making, which is a decent case, is why are we even going here when the science doesn't prove this shit? And this brother can't agree with him, even though it's the truth. So this brother's like, well, let me tell you like this. Okay, what about this and that? You know what I'm saying? Give me a fucking break.
Not say even as a scientist. I just simply care what is objectively true. And science happens to be a pretty potent path to invoke, to find out what is true. And so if people express themselves on a gender spectrum, and that is an actual thing in an actual society,
what?
If we have not fully explained that scientifically, that's an interesting frontier to study. If you want to say it's only sociological.
And now he's pandering to his fellow scientists by trying to promote that we need to study this. And whenever you hear a scientist say, we need to study this, this is them getting the government to try to, give them grants for this dumb shit, or some endowment or some fucking nonprofit, somebody. This is what science has become here.
Then it's the purview of the social sciences. I don't care who studies it. It's an interesting fact about society.
Dude,
that's worth learning about.
What? In what way? What do we need to learn about it? There's nothing to learn, dude. I mean, people that want to be other genders, I mean, it's obvious there's something going on and there's something wrong. And if they want to go down that direction, then go down that direction. Don't try to bring everybody in to whatever it is that your interpretation is, because that's not what America is about. America is about being able to do whatever it is that you want to do and not infringe upon anybody else that's doing what the fuck they want to do. And you see, that's my biggest disagreement with the fucking left and the fucking LGBTQ, is that instead of leaving well enough alone and you do your leftist and your gay shit and I do my shit, they don't want to do that. They want to force you and your children to be a part of it. And that's not American, okay? So why don't you talk about that, you fucking stupid, dumb jerk-off, affirmative action, fucking wannabe scientist?
To fight someone and say, it's not biological, it's just your this. It's real and it's there.
Well,
because it's real because it manifests.
But it is real because it manifests. But the question of how to classify manifestation is a scientific question, meaning that, for example, there was a woman over at Brown University. Mm-hmm. She came out with a study that suggested that there was a phenomenon called rapid onset gender dysphoria, in which a member of a particular group would suffer from gender dysphoria, and this person's immediate peer group would suddenly have an onset of gender dysphoria. This paper was so controversial that Brown tried to pull it, and then was forced to reassign it later. You see this sort of
That's
treatment.
That's a different question. What you're asking now is, are there some topics that should not be studied scientifically?
Right.
And is there some taboo? And Sam Harris speaks a lot about this.
Yes.
And I think the concern is, if you study some topic that's a hot button topic and you bring scientific methods and tools to it, we don't trust, I'm interpreting here, I think we as a society don't trust that people in charge.
Let me tell you something, okay? Neil deGrasse Tyson, every time I see this idiot lecture, he talks down even worse than Ben Shapiro does at his audience. And he always uses his dumb, stupid vocabulary amongst whatever, what is he, an astrophysicist or whatever the fuck he claims he is. And he talks down to his audience, and he talks in such articulate and vibrant language as if it was already pre-rehearsed. This is Neil deGrasse Tyson on his toes, spontaneous. And look at how fucking difficult it is for him to answer a simple fucking question.
In a free country, won't try to legislate something that will constrict people's freedoms in the face of that information. I think that's the fear.
Well, isn't that...
It's a fear.
I mean, and isn't that...
We don't trust our own ability to govern ourselves in the face of what could be some information relative to other kinds of information.
Isn't that a bit of a problem?
Yes. Yeah. It's not. It means it's not a free society. It's not a society of free inquiry, which I think you need ultimately. But yeah.
My general take on all of this stuff, from climate change to gender dysphoria to all of these issues, is bring out the science and then let's hash it out. I think that the problem I'm seeing on a lot of sides
is, what is your motivation?
Why? Why does that matter?
It matters because
what is your motivation? All right, I'm done with this I'm done with this, brother. What's your motivation? Who gives it? What's your motivation?
I'd buy that for
here's
$1.
Neil deGrasse Tyson here. Hold on, what did you say? I love how bad you're talking shit about me when your highest education level is 5th grade in bumfuck Texas. Shut the fuck up, Whitey, before I before I put a stick through your wheelchair and make you fall, you fat cripple Obama Alex Jones. Yeah, fuck off, asshole, all right? I've had enough of Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think that's enough. Anyway, that right there was requested by Diarrhea Erection Explosion Bubble Bath. And I just wanted, I know I was a little extensive with that video, but I just want to show people that this guy's a piece of shit, all right? This guy is an affirmative action goddamn scientist, and anybody who respects this dude is a fucking idiot, okay? All right, 2 more videos, and that's it, okay? That's it, all right? Viva fucking... Jesus. Hold on, I'm not choosing that one. I'm choosing another one. I'm not choosing that. Go fuck yourself. I'm not watching that shit.